It's Friday, August 29th, and this is the final video in this S&P 500 Executive Dashboard update series, where we look at the daily performance of the S&P 500 broken down by sectors in a series of executive dashboards, configurations of ArcGIS dashboards. So let's get started and take a look at what happened in the market yesterday, Thursday, August 28th. So starting with our sector breakdown, again, we're focusing a little bit on information technology this week, the big mega cap West Coast companies. Now, looking at the overall market performance, there are a few standouts right off the bat in terms of big down arrows. So here we've got Hormel Foods, and we'll cover that in more detail when we get into the consumer staples. Same thing with Cooper and Bath & Body Works. So quickly going through our sectors, not a whole lot going on in energy, all companies up for the day. An inverse relationship with the utilities. Most of these are down with the exception of the independent power producers and AES with their large renewable footprint. All right, consumer staples. So why was Hormel Foods down 13% yesterday? Well, they had an earnings report where they adjusted downwards their earnings per share estimates. And despite revenue growth beating expectations, the bottom line was undermined by rising input costs. So sharp surge in commodity costs like pork belly prices, beef prices, nut prices, all hitting Hormel Foods here and disappointing investors. So rising costs being the focus of that story. And just as a note, they are located here in southern Minnesota. Real estate, again, not a ton of action here. Just wanted to quickly walk through the different subsectors of the REITs and point out if there's any real major companies that you should pay attention to, like maybe American Tower, the largest of the specialized real estate investment trusts. Simon Property Group, they own all the malls. Look at the residential. Management and development broken down between CBRE, they're a big user of geospatial technology, and CoStar. Only one office REIT, Boston Properties. Only one industrial, Prologis. And then Welltower dominating the healthcare real estate market. Moving on to healthcare, if we zoom into Northern California, we can see that two big movers here. On the downside, Cooper down 12%. And on the upside, Agilent Technologies up 5.2%. Materials, not a whole lot to talk about here. Albemarle giving some of those gains from the previous trading day back. Industrials, bit of a mixed bag, almost half and half on winners and losers for Thursday. And then consumer discretionary, again, big red arrow here in Ohio. This is Bath & Body Works. So taking a closer look, what happened here? Company reported an adjusted profit of $0.37 or 37 cents per share, missing analysts' consensus estimate of 38 cents per share. So that 1 cent difference apparently causing a negative market reaction for Bath & Body Works. Financials, again, bit of a mixed bag. We could dig into the subsectors, but let's just call it 50-50. Communication services, probably the worst map because they're all here on the West Coast or the East Coast. And then ending off with the information technology sector. Big good day for the IT sector coming off that NVIDIA earnings call at the end of the day Wednesday. No major moves up or down, but we can see that Datadog tops the list. And if you're unfamiliar with this company, Datadog operates an observability and security platform for cloud applications in the United States and internationally. The company's products comprise infrastructure and application performance monitoring, log management, digital experience monitoring, continuous profiler database monitoring, data observability, universal service monitoring, network monitoring, error tracking, incident management, workflow automation, observability pipelines, cloud cost and cloud security management, application security management, cloud SIEM, sensitive data scanner, event management, and CI and LLM visibility. LLM meaning large language model, also known as the AI, generative AI products that are expected to deliver major returns across the market. At least that's what investors have been betting on the past couple years. So Datadog, definitely one to watch in that software space, and they're one of the few IT companies located here in downtown Manhattan. So that will do it for today's update and the overall series in general. What's coming up next is more of a geographic approach to covering the market and the overall economy. What I'm working on is an aggregation of these 500 companies into the 11 urban mega regions that were devised by the Regional Planning Association back in 2009. So I'm taking that methodology, I'm updating it for 2025, and then we're going to see if we can use these geographic regions to understand more about economic clusters, how these companies relate to each other, and most importantly, try to determine how rooted in that area is this company itself. For example, we have a handful of companies headquartered in Western Europe that are really American companies. The most of their operations are here. That's for tax purposes. So the next level of analysis looks at how invested is this particular company in that region where we find their headquarters? And can we get into the next scale of detail with these big multinational organizations? And what does that tell us about the larger economies? That's the plan going forward. That'll take me about a month to create and get back to the daily update cadence, but that is the plan. Stay tuned throughout the month of September for a bit of a different video series focused on project cost estimation and how management of utilities and facilities and all the infrastructure and a lot of these campuses, a lot of these sites ultimately boils down to the bottom line, and why even if you're managing a small organization, you've still got to keep your eye on the broader market because you're still responsible for financial reserves, maintaining ahead of the ever pernicious rate of inflation. So that's the plan. Please stay tuned. Keep an eye out for a new video. Subscribe to the channel. And I'll also do a write-up on LinkedIn of the video series, so keep an eye out for that as well. Enjoy the rest of your summer. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you soon.